questioning whether I need to punt is okay because she's going to the bathroom again. She's just come up.
Contacts.
Welcome to the Argentina Champions Trophy 2015. Good luck. Poco a poco las jugadoras van avanzando al campo de juego, preparándonos porque hay un minuto para iniciar el partido.
Can't believe Jack Wilshere again.
The teams start activities now.
Getting a ding-ding.
Of New Zealand, Olivia Murray, Jessica Webster, Amy Roberts, Sally Wilberforce, Brooke Gill, Ella Johnson, Samantha Carter, Micaela Harris, Luca King, Thompson,
3 minutos para el aire.
Georgia Barnett, Rose Kedel, Jordan Grant, Pippa Hayward, Tyler Blunt, Stacey Nicholson, Anita Pan. The head coach of New Zealand, Mark Howard. The players of Japan, Rio Koye, Saito Sakai, David Hanami, Kara Nomura, Miyuki Nakagawa, Akiko Ota, Saito Kuchi, Nagisa Kobayashi, Rina Yoshiki, Akiko Kato, Akane Shibata, Maki Sakaguchi, Ikichi Tanaka, Nahne Hidari, Yuri Nagai, Yasuki Nagai, Sakyo Asano, Shoko Kanufuki, head coach, Yuki Nagai.
Avísame cuando veamos. Decime. El de gorra blanca es el ¿Y el otro? ¿Y el otro? Decirle a sonido que los escucho.
You got people talking in your ears at the moment.
Thanks.
Okay.
Avisar al sonido que él los escucha.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Mendoza in Argentina, the second match on day one of the 21st Women's Champions Trophy. New Zealand take on Japan. So, the 21st edition of the Champions Trophy, 24 matches in 6 days. The competition made up from the top 5 from the previous Champions Trophy, which is Argentina, England, Netherlands, Germany and Japan, one of the teams featured here. The winners of the Champions Challenge, one which is Australia, and 2 invites from the International Hockey Federations, and those invites went to China and New Zealand. So the Black Sticks and the Cherry Blossoms make their way out into the centre of the park, led by the 2 umpires. The world number 4s, New Zealand, taking on the world number 10s, Japan. And with both teams now out on the centre of the park, when they are lined up, we'll have the national anthems of both countries, New Zealand's first and then Japan's.
First, the national anthem of New Zealand.
So the second match on day one about to get underway. As New Zealand, 5th at the World Cup, play Japan, who were 10th in The Hague, and more recently 4th at the Asian Games, losing to India by 2-1 in that bronze medal match. Let's have a look at the 2 lineups, and let's start with that of New Zealand, who are without some very influential players. Kayla Whitelock is not here. She is pregnant. Congratulations to her. Crystal Forgerson retired. 220 caps to her name, 77 goals. She's the all-time leading goal scorer with Katie Glynn, who is also absent for the Black Sticks. So a big hole in the goal-scoring department for New Zealand, and it'll be interesting to see how Mark Hagar's team cope here in Argentina in this Champions Trophy. There is Mark Hagar, the Black Sticks coach, and He is up against a Japan side that most notably are missing Mayumi Ono, a brilliant defender for Japan at the back. She has not travelled here to Argentina, but Miyuki Nakagawa, the captain, she's going to have a big role to play for Yuji Nagai's team. Oiroko, the backup goalkeeper there is Yuji Nagai. And the two umpires for this one, we have Mariana Redo of Argentina on the far side, and on the near side from the Netherlands, Vanica Alcamada. So we are almost ready to get ourselves underway. The best that Japan have finished at the Champions Trophy was 5th. That was in 2012 and 2007. For New Zealand, it's 3rd in 2011. So here we go then. Japan get us underway, attacking the goals to our left-hand side in the white tops, red skirts, red socks. New Zealand in all black. And alongside me in the commentary box for this one, a former England and Great Britain international, Mel Clulo. Mel, an extraordinary start from Japan, just get the ball and hit it straight down the park to New Zealand. No thought of wanting to keep it.
Yeah, I think sometimes teams do that, but you want to be a little bit more accurate and maybe put the ball off the sideline and then actually press your opponent in. But New Zealand were awake and aware at the start of the game, and they picked that ball off very easily.
This Champions Trophy, slightly different from any other. It's being played over quarters, 4 quarters of 15 minutes each, with a 2-minute gap, break in between quarters 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. There's a 10-minute break at half-time. Also 40 seconds. The clock will be stopped for 40 seconds as New Zealand have a foray into the Japan circle. Cool head on the top of the circle by the captain Nagawa as she just dropped it back, but New Zealand have a chance to put a bit of pressure on. So just a break of 40 seconds at penalty corners to allow the defending team to get their protective clothing on, and also when a goal is scored. So although it looks as if time has been lost for the game through only 60 minutes of match time, by those stoppages you're actually gaining time as well.
Yeah, I think that the FIH have had to look at the way that the game is played and make some changes.
We'll get your thoughts on that as the ball is played into the circle by Michaela Curtis, and New Zealand starting on the front foot. Japan, the lowest ranked team here of the 8 teams that are here, and New Zealand didn't go 5, and that is exactly what the umpire has deemed as well. Japan under pressure from the start of this one. What do you make of the players missing from New Zealand? There are a number, but the 3 big ones I spoke about just over the team sheets of Kayla Whitelock, Crystal Forgerson and Katie Glim. Well, 144 goals, 154 goals missing just in Glynn and Forgerson.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the heartbeat of New Zealand hockey for years, and included in that as well as Emily Naylor. It used to be between her and Kayla Whitelock, used to sit in the middle of the field and really allow the likes of Anita Punt and Gemma Flynn, who used to play inside forwards, to get ahead, use their speed and their pace. And 6 changes from the Commonwealth Games side that won bronze is massive loss for them, but hopefully there's some new players here who can make a difference.
Well, here's a chance, and the keeper, well, that wasn't the most assured keeping, but it's gone in for a 16. We've talked about those players missing, but Stacey Mikkelsen returns, and she's moved, well, from what we've seen, she's moved actually into the front third of the field to try and give them that cutting edge that maybe Hagar was thinking they could be missing through Forgerson and Glynn not being here.
Yeah, I mean, she's a World Junior Player of the Year, so she's clearly got the talent, and it'll be interesting to see her playing further up the field. I think she's one of those players, when we've seen her playing at half-back, she's quick, and you give her the ball from deep and she's able to run, she's able to penetrate and sort of get through, break the lines. With you playing up front, more often than not, she may be playing with her back to goal, which means she's looking to try and get the rest of her teammates in. Maybe it's just adding a bit of experience to that front line.
Well, Black Sticks in the last couple of months played a 6-test series against the United States of America, very much the form team of women's hockey based on the World Cup, if you obviously take the Dutch out of the equation, but the American team with a surprise package, but a nice surprise package at the World Cup. But New Zealand beat them 3-2. There was a tied test in there, so a good result there for New Zealand. As the ball goes in, and then they followed it up with a 3-match test series against Australia, which, well, I'll talk you through this in a minute. The first test, New Zealand led 2-0 and were paid back to 2-all. Second test, it was 2-all. Australia scored a goal in the last 30 seconds. The England players and the England supporters will know about that. And in the third test, New Zealand were 2-0 up, 3-2 up, and conceded another goal in the final 30 seconds to draw at 3-all, losing the series 1-0.
I think you've got a group of players there who believe in the system, and they believe in Mark Hagar as a coach. And you know, since he's come on board and taken charge of the team, they really have moved in one direction. And yes, we can talk about the players that are missing. Of course, they're going to be crucial, but you know, these girls here have got a bright future ahead of them. There are some young players out there who'll be hoping that they can stick around as long as some of those other players have done.
Here is King. Has punt inside it. Punt the skipper onto the reverse stick, into the circle. Ball dropped back, and actually it wasn't a bad little ball back, but Sophie Cox had made the wrong run, and had Cox actually stayed still, the ball would have fell to her. Ball back into the circle. Punt on the reverse stick side. Just Cox trying to make some space for herself, and it's packed Japan defending that just gets the ball out eventually. Good pressure from Charlton. Rose Kettle goes to ground. Punts won it back again. Punt into the circle. She can get the shot away here. Across the face of goal. And although there was a prostrate Michaela Curtis at the far post, it was never anywhere close to her, really.
No, it's great play by Anita Punt there. She saw the way that the Japanese defenders, her feet was facing the wrong way, so she deliberately took the ball that side, and exactly as a coach, that's where you want your players to put it, across goal, in the hopes that your far side winger is going to make the effort. And fair play to Curtis, she did everything she could. It was just...
She was actually a lot closer than I originally thought. Showing a good engine to get there. Sideline ball taken quickly. Webster with it, and it's now Japan's ball. Straight to Roberts, who now brings it back into the 25. It's a Black Sticks hit. Tipped in but picked up by Akane Shibata. Measured ball into the corner for Punt to try and turn Shibata. This is Otta. New Zealand have the ball. Gunson. Good take from Charlton. A little high, was it? Yes, it was. Oh no, well, it's a New Zealand ball. They can consider themselves pretty fortunate with that decision, I think. Again, the Black Sticks with possession. And Sam Charlton self-passes onto a reverse stick. And good blocking by Hayashi. And Hayashi just ushers it over the goal line for a 16. Japan lost to China 1-0 in the semi-finals of the Asian Games back in October. Before, as I mentioned a little earlier, losing to India in the bronze medal match. Great result that for the Indian women.
I think there was certainly a time where Asian teams relied on their speed and their fitness to overcome teams, and now a lot of other nations have spent so much time on their strength and conditioning and their fitness training on the field that, you know, the Asians are almost struggling to keep up with the Europeans and the Americas.
Chance here now as Nomura cuts back in field. Nomura to her captain Nakagawa. Nakagawa shifts it on one more to Shibata. New Zealand turn possession over. Ball done by Sakai. Sakaguchi. Shibata. First foray into the danger zone for Japan, and that's good keeping from Sally Rutherford with the left leg guard. Grant wins the free hit, not enough space given by Sakaguchi. Kept alive by King. Nice ball to Kettle. Kettle will take this free hit. Didn't really have many options. Shibata pretty under control the first time Varsky. Now she's brought it away. Finds supporting Kanafuji. Kanafuji does well up against King. Kettle's there to make the tackle. Shibata. The space on that right hand side if Nakagawa can shift it across, and she does. Otsuka. Otsuka, can she drop it back out to Hazuki Nagai? This edition of the Champions Trophy has quarter-finals as the first knockout stage, so not the top two from each pool going through, so you do get a shot if you finish third or fourth to make the semi-finals. It's just a lot harder because obviously the first team in one pool play the fourth team in the other, second against third.
It's a chance to experiment before the real games begin in the tournament.
Thompson tried to play the ball into Curtis, but she never made the run. She kept trying to hang wide rather than cut inside behind her marker.
It's definitely the right ball to play. It's just knowing as a forward, I mean, Curtis is young and sort of 20 plus caps to her name, and it's knowing at what point as a forward you actually need to make that lead, and I'm sure the connections will come over time.
This is Roberts trying to pick out Nicholson. Very tight against this near touchline. Japan have the free hit. Whistle's blown, and I think we're going to have a card here. And a green card given to Ella Gunson. To the top of the circle, almost fell kindly for Yuri Nagai. As it is, it's Punt bringing it away, finds Mickelson. Mickelson, this Punt still making the run outside her, and Mickelson finds her. Punt now, can she get to the byline and bring it back? Yes, she can. But good tackle by Nagisa Hayashi. There's Thompson with the sideline ball, long corner, trying to thread it through the eye of a needle, gets the free hit, takes it quickly. Go 5, maybe just. And the pressure continues to build, but we're inside the final minute of the first quarter. New Zealand will be the team that don't want the quarter to end, and Japan will be the team that want the quarter to end, because New Zealand are trying to build up this head of pressure.
It certainly came out all guns firing from, from the first whistle, which we don't often see with we don't always see with the quarters.
Punt. The long corner, 15 seconds or so remaining. Punt. Throws the area, that's a good trap on the top of the circle edge, and that will, or at least should see out the clock. Kato then drops it out, and Nakagawa's coming, but the hooter will beat her. And that is the end of the first quarter, and no goals scored. It's New Zealand 0, Japan 0. An interesting first 15 minutes. New Zealand probably shading it just on gut feeling and what we've seen, but Japan had their moments.
Yeah, they did, and I think Japan will certainly try and play New Zealand on the counter-attack. They've got young players playing in their back four, and potentially that is an area to be exploited, but Japan are always going to put numbers behind the ball, and particularly with New Zealand, with some of their fast players, they're going to try as much as they can to stop those players from running. So key for New Zealand is potentially to run down one side and then try and transfer the ball to the other side as quickly as you can.
Yuji Nagai is very calm and collected as he talks to his team. It's Mark Hager will be asking for more from his girls, and the first goal in this one I think is going to be key.
A las 7 de la tarde vamos a ver a nuestras queridas leonas. A ver las palmas arriba, los brazos arriba. Empieza a bajar el aliento desde la tribuna. Y ahora
rather grey, overcast day here in Mendoza as we see some of the highlights from the first quarter. Mainly the black sticks on the front foot. But no real clear-cut opportunities. And, the pitch just getting a little bit of a water. It was drying out in the middle, but we're almost ready to go again. So Kiyo Sano, Sally Rutherford, the two goalkeepers.
4 segundos y continuamos.
Japan get us underway again. That's what they tried in the first half, first quarter. Didn't work. Tried again at the start of the second, and not much better.
Probably worse because they've given the ball to New Zealand higher up the pitch.
And New Zealand back to full strength now as Gunson returns after picking up a green card at the end of the first quarter. But the weather here today in Mendoza, it's overcast, it's cool, it's a little windy, and apart from the wind, probably ideal conditions for playing hockey. From Monday onwards, the temperature is supposed to ramp up. It's what, 20 degrees today, if that? But come Monday and onwards, we're going to be low 30s to mid 30s. It's going to be an absolute roaster. It was very hot here yesterday, and the quarters will certainly help matters when the weather is blisteringly hot. It would almost be, even in the old rules, it would almost be a game of quarters because you'd have to have a water stop, wouldn't you? It's just that hot. Oh, almost came off, but a little foot spotted by umpire Rado. Picked up by Sophie Cox, drops it inside to Merry, and Merry wins the first penalty corner of the match. So, an opportunity here for the Black Sticks, if they can get this right.
Yeah, a body check there on Merry. I think Japanese defender Nomura saying that she didn't really touch her, but I think it's definitely the right decision and opportunity for Anita punt with the first corner of the game.
They're all lining up, and punt has a little shift to her left just to change the angle. And she's moved away, so it's not going to be punt. Merry driven into that near post looking for the deflection, but it's gone behind for a long corner. Japan repel the attack for the time being at least. Thompson tries the diagonal ball into the top of the D. It's fallen for Neil. Shot comes across, the sticks in the air. Play on, says the umpire. That had a potential for danger with that ball in the air. Let's have another look at the penalty corner.
Yeah, New Zealand opting for the, I think it was probably looking for the injector. It's a great decoy run by the one of the runners to sort of draw the Japanese defence in. Couldn't quite get the final touch.
Potter in traffic, brings it underneath the right shoulder, and Sakaguchi can't keep it alive, but Otta does get it back. Hayashi to Sakai. Opportunity. That was the aerial ball from Sophie Cox, but usually in that situation you expect the umpire to blow straight away because you don't want people swinging their sticks above their shoulder.
No, and that is usually the case. You try as much as you can once the ball's going in the air to a group of players. If you call it early as a player, you hope that the umpire's going to blow.
Japan switch the angle of attack. This is Chibata. Chibata that's good defensive work. Sakaguchi muscling out her opponent. Very congested down that right flank. Shot, good save. Really good save from Asano. Sophie Cox, I think it was, with the shot. Asano with the save, but the pressure still on Japan. Good reach from Webster. There is Webster once again. Did she keep it in? Oh no, says the umpire. Let's have another look.
It's a great save by Asano because as a goalkeeper you expect your last defender to actually make the trap, and once it's been edged, Cox was definitely alert to the opportunity, but Asano very quick off her line to smother that ball.
into that deep corner. Goes Nagai, Yuri Nagai. This is Kato. Kato into the circle. Kato goes down on the challenge. Kato still battling for the ball. Good work from Kato. She can't believe she hasn't got the call. And one of the Black Sticks players has gone down. Cleared onto the stick of Kato. Sandy Roberts, who's gone down.
She might have just taken one on the kneecap, but physio's not been on, she's back in the action.
Ball cracked across from Nashimura. Here's Mary. Mary, who won the penalty corner a little earlier. Lovely ball in from Mary, trying to pick out Stacey Mickelson. And Mickelson cut across her defender, but couldn't get the ball goalwards.
I think it's quite interesting though. New Zealand are a right-hand side dominant attacking side, but their two best chances in this half have come from attacks down the left-hand side. One for the penalty corner, and then possibly that as a half chance for Mickelson.
It's a good tackle. Oh, almost a good tackle, but Anita punts on the front foot again. Lovely little spin from Roberts. Just being spoken to by the officials. Here is Punt trying to play it back into Roberts. Roberts at the top of the circle. No one can get a stick on it for Japan, and Sakai eventually clears it out to that right-hand flank. Kato brought down. And a card is going to be shown now. Green card. Sam Charlton for the tackle on Akiko Kato. Oh, and Brooke Neal thought it was a rolling substitution, started to go on and was called back by her teammates.
But if she's gone on the pitch.
Well, saw that happen at the World Cup, England Argentina. Argentina playing with a man extra for a while before it was rectified. Japan with their best part of the game so far. And that is everybody apart from Sakio Asano is in that far quarter of the pitch. Asano all alone in her D, all alone in her half. Oh, that's a big challenge, and that has got to hurt. That's Hazuki Nagai. She's got caught on the wrong side. Fair play to her, she's got up quickly. Rose Kettle. Player who ran into Nagai. Mary battling away in there. Having a good game with Black Sticks number 4. There's another card. Gone against Hazuki Nagai, who was just taken out earlier. Looking for a little bit of retribution perhaps. Into the circle it comes, across it comes. That is a brilliant pick from Akiko Ota. She's rescued her side there. And it's been won by Yuri Nagai, who finds Kato. Kato will take on Gunson. Gunson wins possession back. violation of that green card. Chance here, real chance! Wow, I thought Stacey Mickelson had done everything right. She couldn't steer it into the net. Keeper does well, so you push her even further out. Tatani wins the free hit, which she will take herself. Driving along the goal line is Kanafuji. Another sideline ball for Japan and Ichitani. That has gone to New Zealand. And we're, what, 3 minutes away from half-time. This one a little bit more enterprising than game one. Certainly Japan are giving a better account of themselves in an attacking sense than China did against the Netherlands. Okay, with great respect to New Zealand, not quite the same sort of attacking force that the Netherlands are. Another card. It's Shiho Otsuka who's picked up the card for the stick tackle on that far side. So that's 2 green cards apiece. Otta. Shibata. Shibata runs into trouble and wins the free hit, but Mickelson guilty of waiting for the ball. Otta stills it, and if that ball had gone to stick, Hazuki Nagai would have been in. And Mickelson really, we've got another card coming, and this time lost patience. It's Nagai again.
She hit the ball away. I think she was frustrated with the touch.
Well, she's smiling as she comes off, but I'm not sure her coach will be too happy.
I think she'd literally been out there for 2 minutes after the green card.
So now they're down to 9. Japan. 2 players on the naughty step.
That's possibly the most frustrating card, though, because you can, yes, you're frustrated, but there's no need to knock the ball away. It's an easy decision for an umpire to make.
Well, it's 15 minutes and a quarter. She's been on the bench for 7 of them.
True.
You know, so in that instance, actually, cards now start to play a bigger role.
The yellow ones certainly do.
Yeah. And anywhere will do. Quite right when you are down to 9. Stick it off the end of the park and ask your opponents to come from deep. This is a real opportunity here for New Zealand, especially while they're down to 9. It's not going to be long though. Japan needs us to get the stick on the ball. Punt into the circle. Can New Zealand work it out? No, they can't, because Kanafuji's done really well. Good work from the number 23. In it comes. Almost a touch from Curtis. And that is half-time. And New Zealand almost sneaking the opening goal on the half-time hooter, but it's still goalless in this one. New Zealand 0, Japan 0. So, an opportunity there for New Zealand at the back end, but your take on that first half?
I think some positive signs for New Zealand, definitely, certainly with the new group of players in their first tournament. They've tried their best to break Japan down on attacking sort of on their right-hand side, but as I said, their best opportunities have been down the left-hand side. I think Olivia Mary's been strong up front for them. She's been difficult to knock off the ball, and she seems to make things happen for New Zealand. But from a Japanese perspective, I think they'll be very happy to be 0-0 at half-time.
So the two coaches will go to work. It's half-time here in match 2. New Zealand 0, Japan 0. Who will open the scoring after the break?
Bueno, vamos a ver si estuvo. ¿Dónde está la hinchada de nuestra querida selección argentina de hockey? Cortamos la música. Parece que no se entiende. Voy a preguntar nuevamente. ¿Alguien de la UA? ¿Dónde está la selección de las leonas? No, la selección está esperando. Quiero saber dónde está la hinchada. Voy a contar hasta 3 y se tiene que escuchar una ovación que motive a nuestro DJ a poner música. A calentar las gargantas. Y explota el estadio a las 2 y a las 3. ¡Suena la música! Estamos a momentos de la nuestra querida su último torneo.
You're really angry or something?
I think it's been shaken up in my bag and now I'm just getting you one spot.
Te ven en la cámara y tenés que saltar, tenés que bailar, tenés que aplaudir. Estamos en un evento de Mendoza para el mundo. El Argentina Champions Trophy. Aquí, en el Estadio Provincial de Hockey. Se ven los premios para darle. Tenemos varios premios para darle a todas las tribus.
Tenemos un montón de premios y tenemos a nuestro amigo personal, la mascota del Ministerio de Deportes, el Zorro Pablo. Cada vez que aparezca el Zorro Pablo es sinónimo de entrega de premios. Suena la música bien arriba. Ganaste un primer plano. Tenemos un premio de...
Ahí está la gente de Villa Regina levantando sus carteles. La gente de San Juan, de Río Negro, de Trelew, de Corrientes, de Neuquén. Han venido de todas partes, de Buenos Aires, de Areco. Han venido a presenciar esto, Santa Fe, mirá, ahí tenemos la gente de Santa Fe. Cada vez hay más banderas, están las liebres.
Bien, pausa.
Bien.
Acabo de ver, volvé por favor, ponché el plano anterior. Había una nene, era una nena chiquita de lentes con la camiseta de la selección. Acá está, mirá. Pato, tenemos a la primera ganadora de un premio.
Allá, mirá.
Fuerte el aplauso para que vean que lo prometido es deuda. Además, premio recuerdo.
Creo que la conozco a esa, me parece. De algún lado la he visto. Ahí va Paso, le va a entregar, creo que es una bandana.
Un recuerdo de este Champions Trophy, Sigue la música, seguimos buscando el baile más original.
Buscando ganadores, buscando chicas calientes, chicos, hombres, mujeres, niños, niñas, perros, gatos. A ver quién alienta más, que se lleva un premio. Mirá cómo revolea.
Se irá para La Pampa, Javi. Se irá para Trelew, Chubut.
Se irá para Río Negro.
Se irá para Corrientes.
O para Neuquén.
Será para Santa Fe.
Totalmente enloquecida.
Será Buenos Aires. Chaco. Bien, Chaco, impresionante. ¿Y las chicas de dónde son?
Pato, mirá acá. Mirá toda la gente cómo alienta allá. La gente de Luján, de Trelew, de La Pampa, de Corrientes. Y una pregunta. ¿Dónde está la gente de Mendoza? No. ¿Dónde está la gente de Mendoza? ¿Dónde está la gente de Argentina?
Va, Javi.
Welcome back to Mendoza, half-time in the second match on day one of this Champions Trophy. New Zealand 0, Japan 0, and New Zealand, well, have been on the front foot, really had most possession in the opponent's half, one penalty corner, and 3 shots from their 9 circle penetrations. Japan yet to really bother Sally Rutherford, although I do remember Rutherford making at least 1 save with her left pad during that game. But discipline here could be important. 2 green cards for New Zealand, 2 green and 1 yellow for Japan. Don't forget, you can keep in contact with us on social media at FIH_hockey is our Twitter handle, as we see some of the highlights from the first half. And, that was Mary winning that penalty corner, the only penalty corner of the game.
Yeah, and she's certainly been the bright spark for New Zealand. She was involved here as well, and just didn't quite get the connections that they would be hoping for, but absolutely fantastic save by Sano here from Mikkelsen. Really quick off her line to close the angles down, and it's brave, but that's why they have the pads on. And here, this is what you want from your forward, just to take that 1 touch to go round the goalkeeper. Couldn't quite find the back of the net, but it has really been New Zealand dominating the half so far.
That was right at the end.
The ball almost took a curve as it went into the circle, and had it not done, I think Curtis probably would have got the touch to score the goal.
And then we might have gone upstairs. Was the touch before or after the hooter? Where was the ball? But the crowd building nicely. Pool A matches first up, then Pool B, Australia, England next, then Argentina get their campaign underway against Germany. And they love their hockey in this part of Argentina. And they're enjoying the half-time entertainment. But what do you think Japan have to do in this second half to try and get something? They've had their moments, haven't they, coming forward?
Yeah, they have. But when they do go forwards, they're attacking in 1s, 2s, perhaps 3s. And now I'm asking myself the question whether they'd actually be happy with a draw. With the world rankings the way that they are at the moment, they don't want to be necessarily playing their best hockey in game 1. Maybe they're just going to build up some momentum, get used to the pitch in another match, and try and take some points off other teams later on.
Well, Mum's enjoying herself, even if the kids aren't. Everyone entering into the spirit. There you go, she's finally got her going. Younger sister doesn't look too impressed. Chocolate, use chocolate, that always works in my experience. All right, I'll give you some chocolate later, Mel. So Mark Hagar and his team I think we'll be happy with what's happened. Obviously, if they nicked a goal in that first half, they'd be even happier, but more of the same, and you can see them scoring, can't you?
Definitely. I think that they've got the quality players there, and good leadership skills from Anita Punt and Stacey Mikkelsen as well. And I think, yeah, you want to be doing exactly the same as you've done in the first half. As I said, I think if they can attack more down the left-hand side, that's where they've had the best outcomes.
Sally Rutherford, like call into the side for New Zealand. Amy Gibson, the Canterbury keeper, fractured her collarbone in the USA series, so Sally Rutherford replaced her. And forget, Japan are short-handed for the start of this second half. Hazuki Nagai still serving time for the kick, for knocking the ball away after a poor touch on the top of the circle. So they are down to 10 players. Sophie Cox had the best opportunity of that first half. And New Zealand get us underway, attacking the goal to our left in this second half. No score yet between The world number 5s and the world number 10s. Haywood. Here is King on this left flank. King plays it up into the corner. Here's Merry. Good work from Tanaka. And Sakai. Feeds it along the line, and here's a chance here for Nakashima. Nakashima got support to her right-hand side in Tanaka. This is Tanaka. But showing a good engine to get back. There's Neil. Neil takes that sideline ball and plays it into Sophie Cox. Cox to Charlton. Curtis. Curtis gets the free hit. Advantage played by Mariana Rado on that far side. Almost came off for New Zealand. Punts left the ball behind. Hayashi. Shibata. Neil is there again and plays it across to King. King picking up Cox. Cox into the corner to Merry. That's a good ball. Perfect weight from Cox to Merry. Good defensive work from Hayashi. Picked by King. Neil. Across the park to Gunson. To Punt. Punt up against Shibata. First ball to Nicholson. More pace about New Zealand at the start of this second half.
Something we saw also from the Dutch earlier in the first game. Seemed to be the third quarter that teams are, well, there were only 2 games in, it's the quarter that teams are really pushing up and trying to make their dominance count.
King, Haywood. Straight ball, tipped into the circle, chance here, on the bar from Merry. Well, it was Michaela Curtis who had the initial touch, Merry following it in, but it was very high for her. She managed to get contact with it, but couldn't keep it down. It hits the bar and Japan survive.
Absolutely brilliant here. Curtis initially with this shot onto, I mean, that's just great reflexes. Split grip, so there's not that massive backswing from the striker. Good save initially in goal by Asano, but that's brilliant reflexes, and she's really unfortunate not to have scored.
It's almost on the backhand for her, isn't it? It's just the one sort of angle, she can't get it in. If it's
There just wasn't the time to change her hands around.
But as you say, brilliantly quick reflexes even to get a stick on the ball. Lovely turn on the top of the circle by Anita Punt. Kato does well. Kato still doing well. Kato. To Nakagawa. Nakagawa's ball under the shoulder, gives possession away, picked up by New Zealand. Here comes Punt again. Everything seems to be going through the skipper. Here's Curtis, who almost opened scoring a couple of moments ago. Here's Cox on the reverse stick. Cox fires it in. And standing on the post was Petra Webster, but she couldn't get a touch. A little shove in the back from Cox. A little lucky not to be sitting down for a couple of minutes there. Good work from Hayward. And again, playing through Punt. Punt is the linchpin, isn't she, between defence and attack at the moment.
It's just her speed, not only over the great distances, but just the 5-yard burst. Can't help but think it's a matter of time before New Zealand get something on the scoreboard.
Kato. Ichitani, who does well. That's good skill from Otsuka. Sakai. So Nakagawa. Hayashi. Sakaguchi. Hayashi once again, and New Zealand now go hunting, putting the pressure on, but the ball up the line alleviates the pressure on Japan, although Nomura can't keep it in. Here she goes again. Punt. Almost the perfect ball into Gunson. Good steal from Roberts. Roberts with her head up, looking for the lead. Roberts. Ooh, how out was that? Shove in the back from Webster. Now Japan to clear their lines. Ichitani to Kato. Kato's turned Thompson. Kato, little look up, feeds it down the line, trying to find Otsuka. The pass is too strong. Lovely work from Kanafuji. Kanafuji still going. Kanafuji to the circle edge, trying to draw the touch from New Zealand and not retreating 5. Arguably, she did that because the touch came outside the circle. Just trying to be touched around the corner from Otsuka. And Nagawa drops it out. Here's Sakaguchi. Not sure she was expecting that back. Mary intercepts, and a chance here for the Black Sticks. It's 2-on-2. Mikkelsen. Mikkelsen cuts back inside, gets the foot of Hayashi. Mary. And Webster penalised for her challenge. Good work from Thompson. Here goes King. Hunting all alone is Mikkelsen, trying to put some pressure on. And well, it works. Merry has possession back, tries to feed Cox. Fired in, outside of the post. I'm not sure Asano necessarily ready for that one. Sakai, 4.5 remaining in this third quarter. Still no break in the deadlock. Kettle to King, and it comes, and again, Asano just lets it into the goal for a 16.
The game's just got a little bit scrappy at the moment. The ball looks like it's bouncing around, whether it's the pitch or whether it's the execution from the players, I'm not sure. But it's not as fluid as it was in the first 10 minutes of this quarter.
Sakai with a measured pass. Now Keita has a chance to stretch her legs. No. The final pass from Japan has been disappointing so far. Against sides like New Zealand, like the Netherlands, they're not going to get a great deal of opportunities, and the opportunities they do get, the last ball has to be right to give your player a chance. Effort comes from Curtis. Hayashi gets it clear. Mary goes to ground, pressure still applied. First stick ball in too high from Mikkelsen. Sakai. Away the free hit, it's a loose ball from her. That's a poor restart from Gunson straight to the defender. Curtis. Nagawa wins it back, and it's laid off by Yuri Nagai. And Anita Punt returns to the fray. And Roberts has taken her eye off the ball, and well, you're quite right, it's got a little scrappy. Ball rocketed in. Oh, half chance that came up off the stick of Gunson. It fell to Nakashima, but her body was in the wrong position, and a little bit like Mikkelsen didn't have time to get her, or Mary didn't have time to get her feet around, and this occasion her feet around the ball.
Yeah, that's the ball in from Nakashima, and again, I don't think the Japanese forward, I think it was Yuri Nagai, was really expecting the ball to bounce off Gunson's stick. But as you've said, those are the chances that if Japan are going to get the 3 points, they're the chances they're going to have to take.
Inside the final minute of quarter three, still goalless, just the one penalty corner. Although Olivia Merry has hit the bar in this third quarter, and Webster's almost through before Japan get awarded the free hit. Up on the reverse stick by Nakashima. It's good work from Nakashima. Coming infield, there's space here for Nakagawa. Shibata, well, she got hold of it, but that was really good block by Gunson. And there is three-quarter time, and there's still no scoreline in this second Pool A match. New Zealand have hit the bar, but it's 0-0. So just 15 minutes remain in this match, and New Zealand, all their hard work and endeavour, are still level on the scoreboard, the one stat that matters the most. Do they change anything here, Mel? What do you think said at this little huddle?
I think from Japan's perspective, that last 2-3 minutes of that half was probably their best. Had the half chance that fell to Nagai, and then just with the last 11 seconds to go, it was Shibata with the cross. But New Zealand have got to be pleased with what they've done so far. I think that final 5, 6, 7 minutes wasn't their best, but with 15 minutes to go of the game, I think I'm still siding with New Zealand to get the 3 points.
Well, can anybody find the breakthrough? We'll find out soon enough. So here's some highlights from that third quarter, and that's the one that came off the bar from Olivia Merry. Curtis has gone up celebrating. Good save from Asano originally. And that's the closest we've got. Teams back out, ready to go. And New Zealand have 15 minutes to try and unpick this Japan defence. And at the same time, make sure that they remain solid at the back and don't give away a cheap goal. And the balance of play, they are the ones that look like scoring, but you never know, and they do score though. Merry does get her goal, and the first real point of indecision in the Japan defence, and Merry pounces and opens the scoring inside 20 seconds.
Yeah, it's a direct ball, and it's an absolutely fantastic first touch to deflect that ball. It's exactly what you want to happen. I think it was Hayward with the deflection and Merry with the first time sweep into the goal, and definitely something that New Zealand deserve. And certainly for Merry herself, I think she's had a great game so far.
So New Zealand score the first goal from open play in this Champions Trophy competition, and it goes to Olivia Merry, the Black Sticks number 4. So New Zealand have the reward for all their endeavour. Can Japan find a response? New Zealand 1, Japan 0. Olivia Merry the scorer. And Japan appealing for the penalty corner. The decision going against them. They do have the referral system in play here, hence the 2 green dots by the country abbreviation at the top left of your screen. Kato. So Nakagawa, lovely first time pass, finds Nagai. Nagai tries to play it back to her skipper. Kato does well. And it's up off Kato's body. Punt, I think, is going to take a little rest. What colour is it? Yellow for the New Zealand captain. So having just taken the lead, the captain now shorthands her side. And just when New Zealand would look to turn the screw on Japan, oh, what a finish that would have been if Nagawa had got hold of that. But as it is, here comes Curtis down the other end. It's 4-on-4 here. Ball back inside, picked off by Sakaguchi. to punt. There you go, confirmation of that yellow card. Into the corner it goes. Here's Nagai. From a coach's perspective, it must be fairly annoying. Just got yourself in front and then you're suddenly on the back foot because you're down to 10.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything malicious in it.
Shibata. Nothing coming for Japan. It's end-to-end stuff here. Mikkelsen. Oh, just lost control in the end. And Otta brings it free. Nice work from Nakashima. Well, Rutherford's come a long way from home. What's Rutherford doing? Well, she came out to take the pass across the circle, but why? Why, I just don't know. And Japan get the equaliser, and New Zealand have shot themselves in the foot there. I just don't know what Sally Rutherford is doing here.
It's a great bit of skill here initially by Nakashima as she goes around Neil, and here she is definitely shaping to make that pass in field. Brilliant pass. But yeah, Rutherford, I don't know what she's doing on top of the circle. That's definitely the right pass. Gunson was nearly there but not quite, and it basically left Kato with an open goal.
So Anita punts, yellow card, gets Japan back into the game. They hadn't been in front for, what, 2 minutes? And from a position of strength, New Zealand now reeling a little bit.
The only thing you could say is Sally Rutherford clearly felt and thought that the pass was going to be made to that player, so she's gone to close down. I don't think it's the right decision at all. For me as a defender, I would want to see my goalkeeper probably where she is now, which is 2 yards the other side of the penalty spot, and if the ball goes there, then close it down.
And also, don't gift the goal away. Be beaten by a shot. And you never know, if you close it down and make a nuisance of yourself, the attacker can drag it wide or push it wide. But anyway, she's an experienced goalkeeper and she's made the decision she's made, but unfortunately for her in New Zealand, it was the wrong one. Oh, now here's a chance here and a penalty corner because it's come up off the stick of Akiko Otta, and New Zealand with an opportunity to snatch the lead back here. They're without punt, so it looks like Murray took the slap in the first half.
It's just a poor trap by Otta there. There's no one actually around. She's not really under pressure. The ball is slightly skipping across the turf, which does make it difficult to trap, but you would expect players of international standard to make that.
That's Brooke Neal and Olivia Murray at the top of the circle. In fact, now shifting to the left, and it will be Neal that will have the initial hit from the top of the circle. It's all gone horribly wrong here. Somehow it's gone in. It's Ella Gunson who got the last touch, but it's gone in off the defender who was going wide, but it's gone into the goal, and we've had 3 goals in 4 minutes here.
Yeah, Japan ran a low box, so their 2 runners at the top just basically stopped at the penalty spot, thinking that the New Zealand threats were going to be the deflections, and it's really just an optimistic reverse stick sort of flick by Gunson, and it looks like it's come off the post player. I'd argue that's too high personally, and it's going wide off Sakai, but
there was a New Zealand player at the back post who might well have turned it in, but as you say, is that the initial shot? New Zealand fans don't care, they're leading 2-1. And all this while their skipper's been off the park. So Gunson gets the goal. New Zealand back in front. And Yuji Nagai, the Japan coach, must be beside himself. Hayashi gets it back again on the halfway line. Everybody inside the New Zealand half apart from the Japan goalkeeper. In it comes. Little deflection off Gunson's stick. Good defensive work by the New Zealand backs and shell it off the end of the park. And ask Japan to come from deep. Still down to 10 here. And now punts back into the game. And they're on the front foot. Mikkelson's got punt outside it, and she's come straight into the fray, and Japan hadn't picked her up. Mikkelsen. New Zealand ball, which Mikkelsen will take. Punt. Japan have got them, what, 7.5 minutes just over to try and find an equalising goal here. And credit to New Zealand, they're a little rattled, weren't they, after they conceded the goal, but they weren't rattled for long. Shibata. Ball on that far side, taken by Annie Roberts. Into the goal it goes. 16 for Japan. New Zealand leading by 2-1. 6.5 remaining. In this final quarter, fourth and final quarter. Off the foot of Mary. Off the foot of Mary, but
obstruction by 2 Japanese players.
Punts. Twisting, turning, and doing remarkably well. No way she should have got through there. Mikkelsen trying to get it onto the strong side. Oh, wonderful play from Japan in a tight situation. Japan ball to be taken by Nakagawa. Rifles it in, looking for the touch, the far post. And Annie Roberts was worried there. She wasn't sure where the ball was. That was heart in the mouth situation. Here goes Nomura. Clashing with punt. Oh, well, Suka was trying to deflect that into the circle, but there was no one in white in the circle. This is the heart and the mouth moment for Annie Roberts.
Again, it's the bouncing ball into the circle that's causing the problems. Nearly played it onto her own foot.
Mickelson, oh, that's a horrible, horrible looking tackle from Sakaguchi. Oh, and that's bounced up into the face of Curtis. So two things here. Nakaguchi first, I think, will get a yellow card. She's protesting her innocence, but it was an agricultural challenge at best, and she's off. And so Japan will be shorthanded for the rest of the game. And so Michaela Curtis,
still on the edge of the circle waiting, but managed to turn her head.
she's okay. So punts at the top of the circle. This time she surely will take it. Their third penalty corner here. Good save. She got hold of it, but seen all the way by Sakio Asano. It's up by Hayward. First touch from Roberts. It's not a good one. So Japan, a goal down and a player down.
Yeah, it's on target from punt, but I think Asano in goal would have been disappointed had that not gone in. There wasn't quite enough disguise to send her the wrong way to then put it up in that top corner.
Gunson into Merry, nice touch from Merry. Still going, Merry on the reverse stick. Merry, it's into the centre of the park, in the goal mouth, but off the foot of the Black Sticks player in the centre, who was Sophie Cox.
It's a great bit of skill by Merry on the edge of the circle, and she does well there to get down low, and it's just the edge of the Japanese Manet being as the defender that managed to take the ball away from Cox. Otherwise you could only really see that going in the back of the net to make it 3-1 to New Zealand.
And that would have been game over. We've got 3 and a bit minutes, or just under 3 minutes of this match remaining. And New Zealand lead by 2-1. And Merry again, who's really come into her own as this game has worn on. Nice ball back across the circle. Still here, first time from Anita Punt, but can't keep it on target.
Just fantastic build-up play again. Merry at the forefront of everything. She puts the ball into the danger area. Mickelson's got the vision to see that Punt's there, and great connection, but just sent it over the bar.
First time ball up that line by Roberts. And we are just outside 70 seconds of the match remaining, and New Zealand looking for a third and killer goal. Merry, wow, she's got one. Could have had a couple more. Webster. bit of skill. Down in the corner in New Zealand, it looks like they're going to open up their Champions Trophy account with a win. Been made to work slightly harder than perhaps they might have thought, having taken the lead.
Yeah, it's just a shame we haven't seen more of Japan attacking-wise. I mean, the goal that they created was brilliant. They had a 3-on-2 situation and they put the ball in the back of the net. And that's all we've really seen from them. I think New Zealand have thoroughly deserved the 3 points, which is probably going to be the case with 4 seconds left. I think they've deserved it, and as we've said all the way through the commentary, I think Olivia Mary's been outstanding today.
So New Zealand win their first Pool A match against Japan. They take it by 2-1. Well, Anita Punt got given a yellow card just after the Black Sticks had taken the lead. And then Japan equalised. It was, what, 3 goals in 4 minutes at the beginning of that fourth and final quarter. But Mark Hagar just having a word with Sally Rutherford just now. But doesn't matter, because they've won from their point of view, and she might do it differently again. But the final score here in this Pool A match, New Zealand 2, Japan 1. So let's have a look at some of the highlights then. And that's the opening goal. That's almost with 25 seconds of the restart, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Route 1.
Fantastic ball in, first time deflection, which is a nightmare for defenders to try and stop, and Olivia Mary gets the goal that she thoroughly deserved.
Just here, Sakai, it wasn't assertive enough, was she, on that reverse stick? She just needed to put it out of play. But, you know, a couple of minutes later, Rutherford top of screen, still trying to work out what she was doing. And as soon as that pass was given, she was got to at least try and make the forward beat you.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, sold a little bit maybe with the eyes looking in field, but fantastic ball to Kato. And interestingly, she goes feet first as well. When the stick, she could probably reach further with the stick. So interesting all round, to be honest. But then, you know, how many times do we see penalty corners as well for the New Zealand winner that aren't the ones that are rehearsed, that actually score? Gunson puts the ball there and it comes off Sakai's leg. I do question whether the ball was too high because the shot was going wide. No appeal from Japan, and New Zealand, for me, deserved the 3 points today.
So full time in this Women's Champions Trophy Pool A match, New Zealand 2, Japan 1, and well, twice as many circle penetrations, plenty more shots, plenty more possession, and 3 yellow cards and 4 green cards. It didn't seem that sort of game, but you know, can't kick the ball away, and I guess the umpires perhaps just losing patience after all the green cards. And penalty corners, just 3 for New Zealand, one which they score from, but that's not one that's from the training ground.
No, it's not, but when you take into account that Whitelock's not here, Forgerson's not here, they were key players in not just on the outfield but also at set plays for New Zealand, and you know, other players have now got an opportunity to be involved in those situations. So loads of, I'm sure, lots for Mark Hagar and the Kiwis to work on.
Well, next up for New Zealand, it's the Netherlands tomorrow morning at 11:30. Next up for Japan, well, it's a repeat of their semi-final from the Asian Games against China. So 2 fascinating matches coming your way tomorrow. But the Netherlands and New Zealand are ploughing the way in Pool A. That is the matches for today. Next up, Australia, England in about an hour's time. Then Argentina open their Champions Trophy campaign against Germany. Fascinating, that Pool B. Pool B by far the harder of the 2 pools, you'd assume, on paper.
It is on paper, but I think when you've got quarterfinals, it doesn't matter which pool you're in. I think you almost want to be in the so-called harder group, because it means you could potentially have an easier crossover. But at this level, I don't think there is an easy game anymore. Exactly. 8 of the world's best teams battling it out for Champions Trophy glory here in Mendoza
Argentina, and plenty of enthusiastic fans here as New Zealand go through their warm down. The rest and recovery, recuperation so key with so many games in such a condensed period. So that's it, the 2 games in Pool A are done. Victory for Netherlands and finally victory for New Zealand.